Lil Yachty is currently involved in a scandal that looks really bad for him and could potentially do some really big damage to his career. Lil Yachty was on stream with Plaque Max last night, and while on stream, Lil Yachty was doing Lil Yachty things that led to the world being really pissed off at him. Now, before we can discuss exactly what Lil Yachty did that pissed off the world, let's just address one thing that Lil Yachty did that not a lot of people is talking about that pissed me off particularly is when Lil Yachty began to discuss the difference between streamers and rappers. Now, he's talking about not streamers and rappers 10 years ago, but no, streamers and rappers in 2025.
You agree with that shit? Saying streamers the new rappers and shit?
We not streamers, lame as hell.
Okay.
But streamers getting money. Y'all getting money like rappers.
Okay.
And I respect that.
I think that's the name.
But y'all definitely getting money like. But one thing about streamers is you can't fake cool. A lot of niggas be cool, but y'all getting to the bad. My niggas getting to the BFG. And y'all, I tell you, y'all more popular. A lot of y'all niggas, y'all pull the crowd way more. Like right now, bro, you could probably, no funny shit, you could probably do an arena. I think like depending on what city, I think like in LA, you could probably do an arena.
In what world are rappers still cool? Look, Lil Yachty is living in a time that he never been in. Okay, ever since Lil Yachty has been out, rappers were not cool. Like in the 90s, the 2000s, when rappers had mystique and aura, yeah, that was probably cool. In 2025, the rappers are being played like the 304s. The rappers are attaching themselves to 304s, to Instagram models to get relevance, right? The rappers are tenders. The rappers are being clowned. The athletes is piping out all y'all girls, right? The rappers are zesty. There's nothing about a rapper in 2025 that's cool. Who do you guys think these kids think is more cool, Lil Yachty or DDG? Be for real, homie. So yeah, that's my only thing. Now let's get to why everybody hates Lil Yachty. Okay, so after this, Lil Yachty began the freestyle. No, it wasn't even a freestyle. He actually wrote these bars, looked at it, and said, yeah, this the one. So this freestyle has everybody on Lil Yachty's neck right now.
Wait for it. Wait for it. ITSUS, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd.
Just in case you're wondering why a celebrity, a rapper, somebody who is at least mainstream, why would they put themselves in a position to where they are rapping a bar about George Floyd that's not necessarily paying homage, to say the least, to a live stream of 40,000 people? And how could they possibly think that this wouldn't cause chaos? That's because Lil Yachty has been hanging out with these underground rappers long enough that he thinks he's still an underground rapper, right? He probably done fell off to where he probably thinks, man, nobody watching me, man. I'm an underground. No, bruh. No. Sorry. No. Okay? No. Osama's son could probably get away with that verse. Right? Like, Summers could probably get away with that verse. I don't know, bro. Destroy Lonely is too mainstream right now to get away with that verse. Yeet probably too mainstream. Ian probably too mainstream. All right? Now, Dave Blunts could probably get away with that bar right there, but you can't get away with it, Lil Yachty. You are Lil Yachty. Now, clearly, this was foul. Clearly, right, this will cause chaos, and it surely did. Right? And the worst part about this, too, is Lil Yachty wasn't even prepared or ready for the chaos. He folded as soon as chaos came. See, George Floyd's spokesperson, Steven Jackson, he took to his social media page to call out Lil Yachty.
Doing the right thing. I'm winning. I'm just trying not to pay attention to you idiots, man. But, like, it's just hard, bro. Like, Lil Yachty, bro. You been whacked, my nigga. But you think you saying George Floyd name and trying to use his name in the bar that's gonna make people like your whack-ass music, my weak. Y'all the only era that feel like demeaning the dead and saying that cool, man. It ain't. And it's me and the whole Third Ward and the whole Houston, Texas riding behind G, man. Don't ever say his name, bro. None of y'all knew G. Nothing about him. But y'all want to say his name for clout. Put a knee up on his neck. That's some weak ass shit, Yachty. But let somebody die in your family. We gonna do a whole skit about it and see how funny it is, bro. Cut that shit out, man. It's only you whack ass niggas that do shit like that.
I agree. What Lil Yachty did was out of pocket. It was crazy. You shouldn't do it. Right? You is wildin', right? There's almost no excuse for it. How could anybody with a working brain write that bar down, look over it, and think it's gonna fly? It doesn't make sense. Like, what's the purpose? Yo, you think that, like, people were gonna make edits of this and be like, woo, Lil Yachty is spin? It didn't make sense. So, right message, wrong messenger, right? Because it was awfully funny and cool when you was chilling in O Block with folks who was smoking on Tuka, right? A 14-year-old boy who was shot and killed in Chicago that your favorite O Block rappers is rapping about. Oh, it was all cool when you was hanging with them folks. I ain't hear you say your condolences for Tuka. I ain't hear you call them out for dissing Tuka. But you was cheesing it up and bragging about how you could come to O Block and nobody can. All right, so it's funny if it's other people's dead relatives, but when it's yours, it's not so funny. Which I'm not condoning him dissing George Floyd at all, but seeing you in O Block with all 32 teeth showing, cheesing, bragging about how you could come and nobody else can, you ain't show no care for Tuka.
Yeah. A lot of y'all been O Block pulling up, taking pictures. Where we at?
Tell them how they come.
We in the middle of it. What you mean, nigga? Y'all pull up and take pictures and y'all not allowed to.
They sneak.
And one thing about it, if you're a real one, you don't mind checking in.
Checking in. What'd you say?
I check in with the real one. That's why I'm in the middle of O Block.
Where you at?
You see the hoop?
Where you at?
I'm in the middle of O Block. Listen, man.
The middle is bitch where the people's be, you know what I'm saying? Where the real people's be, man.
Shit you can't pay for.
Rap cap, man.
No rap cap. Shit you can't pay for. You mean? We really out here. O Block, Chi-Town. Rest in peace, King Vaughn. We in the middle of O Block, ain't we?
64.
Quit playing, man.
64.
I'm everywhere, you never there.
And don't nobody disrespect more dead folks than them boys that you was hanging out with, your homies. But Lil Yachty got the message, right? Not just Steven Jackson, a lot of other people, myself and others, were kind of upset at this bar, man. I don't know, some people may feel like it's not a big deal. I don't know, man. Maybe it's too soon and it's too fresh. All right, so Lil Yachty called Steven Jackson and he apologized. He tapped out. He waved the white flag. He don't want no smoke. But I think at this point it was a little too late because the chaos didn't just stop at the call with Steven Jackson. It extended beyond that.
To all the blogs and shows that's calling me about the Lil Yachty George Floyd situation, some of y'all don't respect because y'all never have content. All y'all do is look for mess. Some of y'all do. I won't be doing no interviews about it. I spoke to him. He's a smart young man. He's winning for a reason. He's a super smart individual. He made a mistake. He apologized. We moved on from it. It's over with. That's what y'all want us. Jumping on these shows, talking about each other, feuding and, dumb shit, clown shit, because y'all ain't got no content. We don't do that at all the smoke. We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows. All right? So peep this. Won't be doing no interviews. He gonna keep winning. He gonna keep doing his thing. We gonna meet up. He made a mistake. Let it go. Stop calling my phone.
Let's take a slight pause real quick from the Yachty situation. We'll be back to Lil Yachty and discuss the other things that unraveled for him. That's a really bad look for him. But did y'all spot that little sneak diss he did? Y'all spotted that, right? Y'all ain't missed that, right? Let's rewind the footage, man.
We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows. We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows. We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows.
That was a slick shot at Nori and Drinks Champ. Now, if you're wondering why is Steven Jackson dissing Nori in his Lil Yachty conflict, it's because Steven Jackson and Nori has been involved in this feud over the last couple of months. And it all started when Nori went on the Joe Budden podcast and told Joe Budden that people only care about 3 podcasts in the culture: Drinks Champs, Menage Worth a Game, and the Joe Budden podcast, and people don't care about the other podcasts. Obviously, Steven Jackson has a podcast in the culture, and he was offended by it, and he did an IG post about it.
Ask it to someone who's pretending. You can't keep up with who you are.
That's real.
You just can't. And in this podcast space, that's the reason why there's 3 podcasts that matters. And that's Menage Worth a Game, that's this podcast, and that's Drink Champs. Now, I'm not telling you which one you should like better.
Joe Budden thinks there are plenty of podcasts that matter.
Okay.
Just for the record.
Steven Jackson took offense to this, and when Nori went on Fat Joe and Jada brought up the fact that Steven Jackson reacted to it on Instagram, I believe. Nori didn't take too kind to Steven Jackson having a problem with him saying the only 3 podcasts that matters are their podcasts. Now, I don't know why he would think that other podcasts who are prominent would not have an issue with this, but Nori would then proceed to call out Steven Jackson and call him a hater and diss him.
So what I'm saying is the other day you made a comment, you said, the only podcast that matters Drink Champs, Joe Button, and $1 million worth of game.
That hurt you?
No, it never hurts me. But what I'm saying is, I've seen a lot of other podcasts. You know, Steve Jack, this is my brother. A bunch of them put in work. A lot of guys are doing their thing.
I feel like Steve Jackson's a hater.
No.
This is his second time. It's his second time hating on me. Like, what?
No,
what
because he been doing. You see, you got to understand.
I thought we was all family.
We are.
I thought so too. Like, this is and if he had a problem, he should have handled that. You know what I mean? But I seen him a couple times, like, and he didn't say nothing to me, and I didn't say nothing to him. It wasn't no beef. What happened?
I believe he was talking to the statement like,
yeah. So that's why Steven Jackson just threw a little sneak diss at Drinks Champs because of that Fat Joe and Jada podcast clip. Now back to Yachty. Okay, so after Yachty apologized to Steven Jackson, the backlash didn't stop there because Charlamagne the God still went on his platform. That's pretty bigger than Steven Jackson's platform. And Charlamagne the God gave Lil Yachty Donkey of the Day. Now, in his Donkey of the Day, Charlamagne had some pretty colorful commentary about Lil Yachty. I'll be real, right? In his commentary, Charlamagne the God was getting to the point where we kind of agree with Charlamagne the God. But some examples he chose to use were peculiar, and some people didn't really like all the examples he used.
Up on her neck, I went George Floyd. Yachty, how you put a hole in your own boat? Okay, are you trying to sink the boat and drown? Like, damn. No black solidarity. Is anything sacred? When we talk like that about situations like George Floyd, we make others comfortable to do it, and then we get mad when others disrespect us. I'm all for freedom of speech, okay? I don't have to agree with what you said, but I agree with your right to say it. But you know what else is free? Shutting the F up. Okay. See, I talk for a living. Have I always gotten it right? Absolutely not. But it's just some things you should know not to say. Okay. You should know not to play with somebody's loved one who the world watched die. Okay, Yachty, you are 27 years old, and you are not a stupid young man. In fact, you are very bright, okay? I've watched you in interviews. I've watched you conduct interviews. I've always thought that you had an empathy about you because of how you have been attacked in this culture called hip-hop, okay? People used to label you as the poster child for whack rappers, all right? Some still do. Was that fair? Probably not, but that's what it was, okay? I've seen you have empathy for Drake when Kendrick was busting his ass last year. So I ask a simple question. Would you write a bar about Kendrick mollywopping Drake in their lyrical battle? Of course you wouldn't, because that's your man. You wouldn't want to hurt his feelings or his team's feelings.
This is the example of content peeled, bruh. We've gotten to a point where our most prestigious hip-hop commentators like Charlamagne the God is rage baited. Now Charlamagne the God is chasing moments or chasing clips for Twitter. What does Drake have to do with this, bro? Yo, this Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, bro, truly ruined and put a hole in hip-hop, bro. This is just content peel like a mug, bro. But he didn't stop with the bad examples with this. He moved on and made another terrible example that after he made this example, I said, all right, bro, this is when I exit this conversation.
I got a better one for you. Would you write a bar about the tragic, senseless murder of the late, great Takeoff? Of course you wouldn't, because you would have empathy for him and how he went out, okay? You would have empathy for his team and family. So why wouldn't you give George Floyd that same respect? Why disrespect that brother's family and friends like that? You said, put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd.
I get what Charlamagne God was trying to do. I understand he meant no disrespect whatsoever. I just felt like maybe you should have probably used, I don't know, hey, Yachty, if your mama went through this, or hey, Yachty, if your brother went through this, or hey, Yachty, yeah, use generic examples, but to use Takeoff's death as an example in your Donkey of the Day hit piece at Lil Yachty, I don't know, bro. I just felt like, keep Takeoff out of it, man. Now, I do have a sensitive spot for Takeoff because Takeoff was one of my favorite rappers, so maybe I'm just being sensitive, and maybe I need to check myself. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man, all right? Is the Lil Yachty backlash worth it? Is it well-deserved? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here on my screen, all right, to find out exactly what's going on with this huge Vlad TV drama. I'm going to see you guys in this video right here, okay? I'm out of here, folks. Peace.